again, just for sharing the information. Just a simple, quick question. Once you establish a contract, you get the property locked up under contract, and let's say you're running out of time and you can't find a buyer. Like, what's the process of just limiting my liability to being, like, let's say, sued for failure to perform on the contract? Like, how do I kind of mitigate that? I'm running out of time, and I'm just like, to be clear, I haven't done a deal yet. I've just discovered the channel. I'm just researching, but I just wanted to protect myself in advance. Like, I get the
You have a deal right now?
No, sir. No.
Okay. So,
but I'm just preparing if I do get it.
Yeah.
So there's three things we have to address here.
Okay.
Number one, don't let a contract scare you from making an offer. It's just a tool. Don't, like, some people get, oh my God, the liability. Wholesaling, if you do it correctly, it's all about minimizing your risk and maximizing your gain. So number one. Don't let ever the fear of the liability of a contract prevent you from entering it. So number two, you got to use the right vehicle, the right contract. If you use the one we provide over at freewholesaling.com, it's a simple 2-page. It's extremely transparent. And so let's walk through the two things you need to understand. You have an inspection period. We recommend in this current market if you can get 30 days, because 30 days goes by fast and cash buyers are very finicky right now. If you do a 7 or 14-day inspection period, it's going to be challenging. Like, you know it up front. The second part of that is if you have a 30-day, don't wait till the 29th day to get out of it, because you just really agitate the seller, and an agitated person can always put you at a risk. You piss off someone enough, they have the potential to sue you. They can do whatever you want. The problem is the minute you get sued, you have to spend money, because if you don't answer, you lose the fight. So one frivolous lawsuit cost you $5,000 just to get it dismissed. So number one, don't piss off people. So if you have a 30-day and you're 2.5 weeks through it and like you can't get the time of day, start having a discussion to end that contract. If you want to get out of the contract, you just simply say, there's two strategies. You just say, listen, there's more issues with the property than I thought. Not sure I can overcome them. Are you open to a discount? Or number two, if you have to get a huge discount because you missed way off, just simply say, where do I send over the cancellation of the contract? I know it sounds harsh and rough, but number one, you're being respectful. And number two, if they go, wait, David, wait a minute. What do we have to do to get this deal done? Because a lot of times you write a contract, people are mentally like, I'm already thinking about leaving, but you can't ask for a $50,000 discount over the phone. It's hard. So don't ever wait till like the 29th day to get out of a contract. You're just asking for trouble. And third, the worst case scenario, if you use our contract, is you have a deposit amount. So if you do a $100 deposit, which is not that big of an issue, your worst case scenario with our contract is $100, because that's your liquidated damages if the contract expires. Now, if you decide to use another contract and you haven't reviewed it or had an attorney review it, and you can be sued for performance. It's hard for people to do that because it's a lot of work.
Well, there's ways around it.
So number one, use our contract, honor your inspection period. Do not wait till the last day. And three, just be mindful and this is why you got to get feedback from cash buyers. So anybody who's just starting out, you get a property under contract. The hardest part is to nail down the cash buyer's price in this particular market. So the one thing you need is time. You got to have time. 2-week inspection period, guys, we're taking 15 to 17 days just to get them locked up with like regular cash buyers. So if you're going out and doing it new, I guarantee you're going to need every bit of those 30 days. So if you have a really motivated seller, ask for extra time, especially if it's vacant, 60 or 90 days. We get it all the time. You only get what you ask for. Stop looking at what traditional real estate is. So do not be swayed by using somebody else's fancy contract, because if you use a full like realtor and lawyer approved contract, you can and will most likely be sued for performance if you don't follow through on it. So don't get me wrong, David. I want you to follow through on our 2-page contract. The biggest thing you can do if you have a 30-day inspection period, you're around like day 22, 23, you're going to have an honest conversation with the seller and either get out of it or try to renegotiate it. But the 29th day, it gets hairy. Like, did you call me today? Is it after 5 o'clock? And we get a lot of people like, well, I was too scared to communicate with them. And
guys, also, just to be clear, it's like the whole contract, let's say it's like a 30-day, I have a wholesale contract for like 30 days, and my inspection period is like for the whole 30 days until the expiration date, more or less. Is that like the right?
So that's two different things. So you can have a closing date, and you can have an inspection period. If you can coincide them, then that's great. Most people
want the inspection as long as possible, all the way up to the closing date, basically.
No, 30, 45 days. Within that day, you should give the seller some leeway. Like if within 30, because sometimes you get pushback. David, you just got to relax here, man. Because remember, if you do the contract the wrong way, you're going to get screwed. But how do you not get sued? You have an inspection period, and that inspection period basically states, hey, within this time, I can get out of the deal whenever I want to, legally. And so
without disclosing a clear reason, just like I changed my mind.
Pretty much.
You can.
But
yes.
Here's the other thing. I agree with what you said there, but you always say this, and then I'm just trying to get you to communicate it. You always go for the reduction before before you get out of the deal. Now, unless it's crazy.
I always do. So the one where I say, hey, where do I send the cancellation over? It's a strategy for a reduction.
It's got to be insane.
Because asking for $50,000 and $100,000 reductions is like, unless they go back and go, David, like, what's wrong? What's the issue? And then you're like, okay. But sometimes they go, okay. Now I would get out of that contract. If I have to do a major reduction, I would call them back and then I would do it. But like, I'm looking for like, what is their temperature on it? Because guys, like, nobody talks about this. A lot of times when we enter in the contract, if it's on market, off market, whatever, when people sign it, they go, oh God. And then they start thinking about like their X strategy.
Yeah. They can start moving or something.
Some people hire a moving truck and stuff like that. I don't want you to use it unethically, but you've got to understand, like, you are taking some risk when you do this.
But there's a right way to get the reduction. And that's what I'm trying to explain here. If you go to a seller and you can't get, and it's not a good deal and it's running over, what I'm going to tell you to do, which we're trying to lead up to this, is basically say, hey, Mr. Seller, don't ask, can I get a reduction? Can you go down? Mr. Seller, unfortunately, the property needs this work. Give it a reason. And then say, because of this, I talked to my partner, Rick, and we're going to have to buy this thing for $130,000. I'm going to send you over the new agreement right now. If you take control, you will get the chance of that reduction skyrockets up. When you say words like, can you do it? Or maybe, or I have to get out of it. No deal. Hey, because of this, we're going to be at this. You have to be very firm. And then that new contract, which is going to be the same one, just going to re-agreement, or you make an addendum to extend the contract. It's going to have the lower price and then another 30-day inspection period, and you'll be good to go. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Trust me.
Yeah. And always have a reason for doing a reduction. If you don't, it's like baseless. It's like, well, why did you just tell me that up front? So don't be scared of the contract. If you stick to the 2-pager, it will protect you. And then you get some experience under it, and then you can decide which way you want to go. So David, stop worrying about what can go wrong with it and start thinking about what can go right by writing contracts. You're going to have contracts fail. The sooner you do it, the sooner you get it out of your blood. It's like that first cold call. Just rip it off.
Oh,
nice. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.